WWE 2K26 rollout season has officially begun, ladies and gentlemen, and I cannot help myself. I need to go on ahead and speculate about some of the new potential features that we could see in this game. And that begins with crossplay, one of the most important features that we are missing and we still don't have. Before we go on ahead and get into it, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned as we are giving away a couple of copies of WWE 2K26 once that time comes around. Aside from that though, y'all, let's go on ahead and get into it. WWE 2K26 is on its way, and we know that for sure at this point. But what we don't know is obviously what's going to be in this game. And crossplay has to be one of the most important things that we are yet missing. Yes, it doesn't affect gameplay, but it does affect the online mode and the player volume. You look at the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5, it basically has its own player base. And that can obviously be a problem because sometimes you'll go on the lobbies online and you'll see that there's just not really much going on. And I think combining both of those player bases with a crossplay mode would be perfect, because we see it already in 2K itself, NBA 2K, we see it in Madden, we see it in FIFA, we see it pretty much in every other video game, at least sports game, but WWE 2K still does not have it yet. And honestly, having to load up different consoles to play with your friends and whatnot, that's probably the toughest part about it. But when it comes down to all the issues, it's probably the easiest thing to do, right? But I think that it's time, man. People don't have the means sometimes to have both consoles to play with their friends, and over the years we've seen this crossplay thing become bigger and bigger with a lot of the games having the feature. And while the online servers have improved a ton over this last year in 2K25, that is one of the biggest features that it is missing, because the servers did start out shaky and then we seen them continuously improve. So I am hoping that not only do they improve, but they do allow us to play from Xbox to PlayStation, PlayStation to Xbox. Those would probably be the two consoles that are, you know, joined in, and maybe PC if they decide to do that. Even though I'm a bit scared of PC because so much stuff is available on PC. You have movesets and things like that that people can abuse online. So I'd be very, very careful about adding PC to the function. But when we look at Xbox and PlayStation, those are two consoles that are obviously just equal. There's a balance. There's nothing really out of the ordinary going on either console. So personally for me, I would like to see crossplay at least begin with those two consoles and community creations get meshed back in with PC, even though we know what problems that can bring, because that's another thing that a lot of people spoke about last year, was the fact that community creations is no longer meshed with PC, only Xbox and PlayStation. That does kind of suck, but I also do understand it to a certain point as well. There's a lot of just context behind that decision, but if we can bring that back as well, that personally would be awesome, because a lot of our best creators in the community, they're on PC, so it would be awesome to see as well. Adding crossplay could be beneficial to the future of WWE 2K, and what I mean by that is the island. I no longer have to sit around and just wait. I think that it would help matchmaking. It would help being able to play with your friends, whoever you want, whoever has the game. I just think that it's a no-brainer to add this, especially with a game mode like the island. Park on NBA 2K, they have the crossplay ability, and the parks, for the most part, they're always full. I think that if we can carry that over to the WWE side, I think it would be perfect. Again, I don't think that you can really lose on adding crossplay. It could be a budget thing, it could be a resource thing, I don't really know, but all I can really sit here and say is that I think that we really need it as a community. And just to drift away a little bit from crossplay, right? Because saying that we do bring it back, that would be amazing, but what would be more amazing is to have some sort of mode, right, online. You know, there's a lot of people advocating for this, and I think that it would be awesome to have some sort of just stakes online, right? We look at SmackDown versus Raw, I believe it was 2009, correct me if I'm wrong. You can create your own championship and take that online, and if you lose it, you lose it. I think stuff like that needs to be done. I would really want to see the online mode improve, maybe a leaderboard, maybe something of that nature. You go into an NBA 2K or a Madden, and again, I'm going back to sports games because that's the only thing that I can kind of relate to at this point in time, and they have leaderboards for their quick play head-to-head, and you can see how many games you've lost and how many games you've won. I think that needs to be something, right? But the only thing with these leaderboards, because you've seen it in my faction, is that a lot of people cheat. They're doing stuff wrong to get the wins, so the leaderboard most of the time is flawed. So if you bring a leaderboard into this game, you need to keep someone on top of it to monitor it, to make sure that the players that are actually doing things correctly are the ones being highlighted at the very top. And not only does it need a leaderboard, but it also needs different things. I need stakes. I need something to be able to play for, man. Back in the day, not only did we have modes like that, but we also had what you would call a clan. And I remember having so much fun playing online, you know, as part of a clan back in the day. And for me personally, I would really like to see those golden ages back where people are playing and people are just having fun. And I think a lot of that goes back down to gameplay, not just it being, you know, crossplay or the online mode having something to do. Again, I think it comes down to gameplay. Gameplay was extremely fun back then, and I still think it is now, but when it comes down to an online aspect, I really enjoyed back then's gameplay for strictly online, personally, because there wasn't really a guessing game. You still had to guess the reversals and time those, but it wasn't a guessing game where you have like 4 options that you got to choose from. If you're on Xbox, it's A, X, B, Y. I want them to go on ahead and really get away from that system in terms of gameplay. I know I'm drifting off here, but just for online and the sake of that, not only the reversal system being the way it is, but also stun meters and things like that, you know, that really do affect the game in a way that sometimes you just feel pretty much helpless, in my opinion, right? But online, man, I think that there is something there, especially with this year, and especially if the island continues to get upgrades and just get updated in general. I think that we could finally get that player online experience that we wanted and that we were looking forward to. At least myself, I can speak for, because now that we know the island is coming back, not only has Mike Straw reported it, but if you watch the very end of the island when you do beat Roman, Paul Heyman teases it as well, where he says that the island is returning next year. So again, there's a lot to go on ahead and break down, and crossplay is something that I really want to see, because I think that it will improve just player experience. I think that it'll be better. It'll be more of a convenience to want to play online. I have a lot of the community that plays on PlayStation. I primarily play on Xbox, so I would just love for that not to be an obstacle at this point. We're in 2026. We've seen crossplay just get bigger and bigger over other games, not only sports games, but a Fortnite, for example, which to me, to my knowledge, it seems like they were one of the first to implement something like that into their game. So it is very well possible, and we know that, and I think that it is needed in the franchise. I think that this franchise actually needs that very badly, and a lot of people may not say so if you're not an online player, but as an online player, I definitely think that it's needed. And you know, hopefully that just continues to just bring more of an evolution to the servers and them getting, you know, properly maintained throughout the year. This year was a very solid start at turning those servers around, because you can actually get into matches and finish them. You're not lagging out. You're not doing much of that. It's just gotten much better, but crossplay will take us over the top in terms of an online experience. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned for the next one, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.